All right. Hi, everyone. It's your girl, Queen Cole, the host of Light the Path podcast. And this is the continued series for the Power Up speakers. They are featured speakers at the Power Up Summit, and you do not want to miss this show. It is, like I told y'all before, I've been telling y'all that these speakers, y'all got to get to know. I'm going to introduce the first one. We have 3 on flight today. So the first one we have is Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. She is a career elevation expert for women seeking senior leadership positions. She has 2 decades of experience in HR leadership, influencing employees through speaking, coaching, workshops, and 10 book publications. Now, she is a multipreneur. Okay, you want to be a multipreneur? You need to get with Dr. Karen because she's going to show you how. She got all the tools. Now, she is a multipreneur, a global speaker. She works as a chief human resource officer, assistant vice president, the CEO of Prudent Global Business Solutions Consulting, and is the founder of Sisters Leaders Conference. Y'all help me welcome Dr. Karen to Light the Path.
Hi, I am so excited to be here.
Hi, thank you for being here with us. I mean, that bio alone, I'm like, woo, okay, let me get my words together. Multipreneur, 10 publications, coaching workshops. I'm like, what Dr. Karen don't do? But don't answer that right now. We're going to get to it. We got 2 more powerhouse speakers up in here, and let me introduce the next one. Let me get my words together because, I mean, y'all just got it going on. These bios alone, I'm like, woo, yes. All right, so the next one we have Danielle Duncan. She is a motivational speaker, certified life purpose coach, and self-published author. 13-time self-published author. Let me put some respect on Danielle's name. She started her own promotions company, Monroe Entertainment LLC, hosting, producing, and 100% self-financing 12 to 15 shows a year that consist of music, poetry, and comedy. She always gives inspirational messages at her events and is always very transparent with her audience about her life experiences, making her down to earth and relatable to all walks of life. Now, you know that's what we need right now. We tired of the fake. We tired of the mask. We peeling that off. We being real. We being transparent. And Danielle, thank you for being on Light the Path. Welcome.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Yay.
Yes, I can't wait to get into this conversation, but we got one more. I mean, in the background, last but definitely not least of the flight today, Tiffany. She is a senior mechanical engineer, science, technology, engineering, and math. You know, y'all know it as STEM. She's a STEM advocate. She's a STEM advocate, professional speaker, international best-selling author of the children's book, What Can I Be? Tiffany has a passion for inspiring the next generation to engage in STEM careers. Help me welcome Tiffany to Light the Path.
Forward to the discussion and conversation. Thank you.
Hey, yes, I love this array of power from the Power Up Summit. I can't wait to dig in. I mean, all these things, but you know what? One thing I didn't see on y'all bio, and I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Karen. What do you do in your spare time? Do you have spare time? What do you do?
Some people would say I don't have spare time, but I do. It's just that I love all of the things that I do. So in my spare time, I do a lot of reading and researching. I am self-taught in a whole lot of areas. And I'm a readaholic. And so I do a lot of reading. biographies, how to, inspirational books. And sometimes I learn a new skill. Other times I learn how people overcome things. Because I am a female coach, and as being part of a female coach, I like to help and assist women overcome barriers so that they can have their full career success as well as financial success. And part of being a female coach for the C-suite is that I help people lead change using analytics and technology. And so that's what I do in my spare time. I read, and more read. You're on mute.
Do you ever read for leisure?
Yes. I mean, the biographies that I read for leisure. So I would say yes.
Okay.
But you can always learn from anyone's walk and path. And so even though I'm reading for leisure, I still find tidbits of knowledge from their path that can assist me in my walk.
Yes, definitely. That's all real good stuff. I like that. Tiffany, let me ask you, what do you do for self-care? What do you do in your spare time? I mean, because STEM, that's, what I mean? That's a big subject, and I'm glad that you're in this space and having more women that look like me in it as well. So thank you for the services that you do. But tell us what you do in your spare time or for self-care.
Right. That piece is important. Self-care is important. So I've learned, I love to give back the service and everything too, but I do have to have some me time. So thank you for that question, because it's like, I've learned to just take some time, go walk out in the park, get some nature in me. I've learned to just pamper myself. And I just like listening to music. I really like just going out into the patio and just sitting, listening to music, and just taking time to enjoy life for myself. And so a lot of times I'm just sitting, listening to music, or just watching my favorite TV show or some movie, and just winding down has been my biggest thing of having some self-care piece of it.
Okay, so when you're winding down and you just say you watching, a movie or something, what's your favorite little snack to go with that?
Ooh, let's see, what's a good snack? The snacks aren't, I should eat healthy. But snacks, some good, caught me off guard. So the most part from snacks wise, I would say I've had some popcorn, some flavored popcorn. I've had some of that. And then I've had a lot of flavored chips and stuff. So a lot of times that's snacks, the munch on.
Okay, because that's my little guilty pleasure. When I got a few little shows that I do try to, how you like let shows add up and then go watch them. So I have a little popcorn guilty pleasure. I'm like, and it's all butter. It's the movie theater butter. It ain't no skinny pop. I tried her. I like my movie theater popcorn. I'm just gonna say, and that's my guilty pleasure. And that's something that I do when I'm watching a little show or doing something like that. Right. So I always like to hear what other people like. What y'all snacking on?
On the same thing you are. Thank you.
Got you. Danielle, I have to ask you, especially all these shows you're putting on, what do you do in your spare time?
Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to meet myself. Okay. In my spare time, I try to remember what I like doing in my spare time because I'll be so busy. I would say probably the same as Tiffany, like try to catch up on Netflix and Hulu, and I just discovered Peacock, and they play like a lot of movies from back in the day, TV shows. I'm like a huge Punky Brewster fan, so I found out like 2 years ago they were doing a reboot, and I was like, okay, when? And then they finally had a date, so I was marking on my calendar, and then I found out that they had the whole, like, all four seasons. So I binge watched the entire series of Punky Brewster before the reboot came on, and I had a ball, and I didn't realize that Punky had a lot of problems as a kid. Like, when you're looking at it as a kid you don't think about it, but as an adult you get the show completely different. You like, man, her mom abandoned her. She like businesses, like resilient after everything through. I was just like, and I reflected to my own life and as an adult. I was like, wow, as a kid, she went through all this stuff, but she still had a positive outlook on life. And I kind of try to pull from that, like, well, shoot, Punky can survive all that. Let me take a page from her book. And then I did watch the reboot. The reboot is amazing. Everybody still looked the same. And I think it was like 10 episodes. I finished the 10 episodes in like a week. And I'm just waiting for season 2 now. I'm a big 80s fan of the 80s TV show. I like restaurant, big foodie. So like I'm always looking for new restaurants to. I've been to a wine one time. It was to see that I had booked or to going to more wine. I want to travel more. I haven't the country as of yet, and I need to get a passport. I can't, but one of these days I will. But one of the places I want to go to is I want to do London, uh, definitely Japan. He's Filipino, so I want to learn more about my heritage and uh,
Okay, I'm gonna have to bring Danny back up. Give me just a second. We have a little audio issues here. Okay. When Danny comes back, we'll just jump right back into it. But let me go to you, Dr. Karen. Where does your passion come from to be able to help these women in these different avenues? Where does your passion come from?
And my passion comes from pain. Passion comes from pain. I am a female career elevation expert because at the time in my career when I was looking to move up to the C-suite, I did not have any mentors. There were no females in the C-suite in the company that I worked for. I didn't know any females who worked in the C-suite. And so what I did was to be proactive, I went on LinkedIn and just found a vice president who happened to be a Black female and asked her to be my mentor. And she said, sure. She charged me $350 an hour. We had a year-long relationship, 1 hour a month, where she poured into me for 1 hour and then sent me an invoice. And although I benefited from all of the advice that she gave me, I determined that I wanted to be the female coach who was more further invested in her clients. And I wanted to be a mentor that has an ongoing relationship with people that I come across. But my passion came from pain.
Wow, wow. And talk about investing in yourself. I mean, that was a huge start because some people would see that price tag and it's like, let me go ahead and go to YouTube University and look up these questions. No, seriously, I'm just keeping it real. When you try to be balling on the budget, you like, but that really shows that you took that time to invest in yourself, and it shows how you can invest in yourself and then start seeing the fruit of your labor. Like, okay, I did this for a whole year, and that was a big commitment.
Yes, it was. And I didn't know anyone who was doing anything like that. Where I come from, $350 an hour is a like, girl, what you smoking type thing, but I know where I wanted to get, and I know that I didn't have the knowledge to get there, and I know that I needed help, and I didn't know anybody who had it. And so that was my solution to the problem that I had, and it kind of worked out for me.
Yeah, well, that was very good. That was smart thinking. I mean, just to utilize the platforms, and I think that's what we need to do. Like we go on and we post things, but how are we actually utilizing these different
Mhm,
platforms
mhm.
to benefit ourselves, our growth, our elevation, and then so that way we can go on and help other people. So I love the way you used that tool, the social media tool, to get to where you needed to go. Tiffany, let me ask you the same question. Where does your passion come from? Especially with this STEM, there aren't, or are they, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of women, Black women in this field. It's sort of a male dominated industry, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. So that's where all my passion is. So when you ask where does my passion come from, I mean, I grew up with two parents. One was an educator, and one was an entrepreneur. They instilled in me the power of hard work as well as education. So I had to go to a science and math Saturday academy, and so from there, I would be able to know about problem solving. So I decided engineering was the way I wanted to go. So being that it's a male dominated field, I know that it's a rare commodity. And so I'm excited that I'm continuing to push it, because when I go and talk to the students and kids about how they can be engineers, and the whole STEM representation hit home, when many of them can't raise their hands and say they've met one. So I said, why don't I put it in writing? So I said, okay, I'm gonna put it in writing and become an author and try to do what can I be STEM careers from A to Z. And so that's what pushed me to have the passion to talk to women, young women, and try to encourage them, because they can do it too. We deal with imposter syndrome, especially as women. And so from that, my passion comes from that, because it's a need for more of us. And STEM representation matters more now more than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about this then. How was your parents? How were they supportive of you going through this? Because a lot of times, as parents, I'm a parent, and you sort of steer your kids like, this is good, this gonna be good paying, this gonna be longevity. My mom, when my brothers and I sort of do entrepreneur stuff, she like, well, they gonna pay y'all for that? It's the whole mentality where it's like, okay, go to a job, stay there 10 years, 20 years, get your watch, get your wallet or whatever it is, and then go. So how were your parents able to support you in something that was not necessarily, they never really seen this happen with women?
Right. And so my mom, like I said, she's the educator. So she made sure my brother, actually, he's a civil engineer. So I'm a mechanical engineer. So both of us,
Okay.
I mean, we had great parents where they instilled in us the power of. So both of us, we grew up. And so they just knew that we could be capable. My mom's an educator. And so she said, you can go into being a teacher, which I give props to all teachers. And she said, you got to be passionate about it. And there is a passion. But somehow with the entrepreneurship side of my dad, I'm an entrepreneur, became an author. It comes full circle. By the education piece, I'm pulling that from her. So all of it was instilled in me. And from that journey of having both parents that told me, if you believe it, then you can achieve it. And so that's what I took on with me, and why I am here today with what I do in charging as far as STEM itself.
That's awesome. Love that. Love that. Danny, thanks for coming back in. Sorry, you were having a little audio issues, and I want everybody to be able to hear all these great things that you power up summit speakers are saying. So I wanted to make sure your connection was well and good. Welcome back, Danny. I want to ask you, Danny, your passion, where does that come from to be able to do all the things that you do?
Yeah, hold on. Okay, yeah. Ever since, oh, can you hear me now? Okay. Ever since I was probably 8 years old, I just always knew that I was destined for something greater. I didn't know what it was. I knew that I wanted to make people smile, feel better about their situation, and I wanted to help them any way that I can. And my goal used to be, if I could make one person smile a day, then I achieved my goal. Like, so I lived my whole life doing it. And then once I got into writing, and then it kind of spiraled into doing poetry, and then being a spoken word artist for like 23 years. And I just had this crazy idea to go independent, and decided to create my first one show, because I didn't feel like I was being taken seriously as an artist. Like I would go to, all the open mics that was happening in St. Louis, and I kept seeing the same people get featured every single month. It'll be a person who will say, "Oh, I just started writing poetry last week," and then next month they're a featured artist, and it's like, okay, I've been writing poetry since I was 13 and writing and performing since 16. It's like, when you go put me on the stage and feature me, you can get this person out the street that just started writing last week, and I've been writing my whole life. So I got frustrated of feeling like I was being ignored. And I decided, if no one else is going to give me an opportunity, I'm going to create my own opportunities. And I did that with my one woman show called Introducing Danny Sky, which is my stage name. And I didn't realize how tough it was putting that show together. I never had a entrepreneur, a hustle mentality. Never had that. I was just kind of a go with the flow person, and I kind of turned that frustration into passion. I was like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I was like, I'm gonna make you pay attention to me. I'm gonna make you see me. And when I did that show, I sat down and I was like, I'm gonna get a photographer. We're gonna do this shoot. Every aspect of promoting the show and creating it, I did it like within, I think, 3 months, and I didn't know how I was gonna go. And I told myself before I went on stage, I'm like, if we only have 5 people, we're gonna perform like it's a room full of 50 to 100 people. I got out on that stage, the house was packed. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, where all these people come from? And I was so nervous on the inside. I was just like, oh my gosh. But I was like, I can't let everybody know I'm nervous. I did my intro, and uh, I thought I was just going to do straight poetry. I ended up doing a combination of poetry and comedy and storytelling. And I told what inspired each piece, and then kind of went into a joke. And it just went really well. And once I did that show, that was the first show that I did by myself, financed it, everything. And when I did that, I was like, well, shoot, if I can carry a 90-minute show by myself and sell it out, I could do anything. And then 6 months later, I came up with the crazy idea of doing an open mic. And then that went well. And then I started some other concert series, and it just kept going and going. And then 3 years later, I created all these platforms, discovered many artists, gave them opportunities, put them on. And once I got into the motivational speaking side, that started kind of become my new passion, I guess. And I realized I knew I was going to retire from promoting shows, but I thought it'd be 10 years from now. And I said that last year. I was like, well, 10 years from now, I'll stop doing shows. And then this year, when I did the Level Up Summit, which was the first summit I did, after I did that summit, I announced my retirement from performing. I was like, okay, I'm not doing spoken word anymore. I was 6 months out the spotlight, came back in, did a few shows. I was like, not performing. Nobody believed me. Then I was like, I'm just going to do shows. And then when I did the comeback summit with Shay Brown, then it was like, okay, you know what? I am officially retiring from the entertainment business altogether. So November will be the 3 year anniversary of my open mic. I'm like, we're just going to end it with that show. There's going to be 3 year/farewell show. And again, nobody believes me. People still think I'm going to come back and perform. And I was like, I dedicated 3 years of my life pouring into other people, advancing their careers. It's like, I feel, when am I going to start pouring back into myself? When am I going to start living for me? Because for 3 years, I lived for everybody else and made sure everybody else was good. And it's like, okay, when is Danny good? Like, when we gonna start taking care of her? Like, what is it that she wants to do? And once I realized I get more fulfillment out of speaking, then I was like, that's the way to go, is to do that. And then I got into life coaching. I just recently, last week, just completed my certification for life purpose coaching.
Yay!
And
That's
Yay! And
exciting. That's exciting. I mean, because Danny, just with listening to your story, it's like you tried one hard thing, you accomplished it. You did another hard thing and accomplished it. And it just shows your tenacity how, okay, you know what? I'm got a challenge. Y'all putting this in front of me. I'm about to do this. And once you keep doing it, and that's why I tell people, I have try new things Tuesday. I want everybody every Tuesday try something new because once you start doing hard things, they just start piling up.
yeah. Right.
Yes. So, Dr. Karen, let me ask you, when do you feel most fully yourself? When do you feel like, you know what, I'm on fire, I'm on cloud nine? How do you get there and what are you doing?
I would say just sidebar, impromptu, unscripted conversations about career advancement, whether it's through entrepreneurship or whether it's through corporate America. I am, I'm a people person, so it's funny. I'm an introvert slash extrovert. If I'm on the stage, I'm an extrovert, but I can also sit and read and for days at a time and weeks at a time and not interact with other people. But when I do interact with other people and we're talking about female career, whether it's them working for themselves or working for someone else and overcoming barriers and different things like that, I am fully myself because I am so invested in us as a female community being more collaborative with one another, sharing resources with one another, help elevating one another, sharing networks with one another. And I am so invested to seeing the next woman succeed. So I really get hyped, if I know somebody, if I know something that can help someone, if I know a program or if I know anything that, that may assist the next woman or the woman that I'm talking about, I just get hype and start offering things and connecting people and different things like that, which is one of the reasons why I started the Sister Leaders community, which birthed the Sister Leaders Conference, is to incorporate other individuals to be more collaborative and share their resources, share their education, share their experiences and networks with one another in order to elevate the next woman leader.
Yeah, and that's awesome. If people, I mean, I've been saying this, we've been doing the power up features the last week or so, but the power of collaboration, if you haven't tapped into that, you are missing out on a whole gamut of help, resources, because you can go further, faster when we're all pulling this train. Like you can pull your own train. You're gonna get some out. But if you want to just go further, faster, get with people that are like-minded, get with people that are going in the same direction as you. And there's no competition. There's enough people out here that need our services, our help, our attention to be able to spread it out a gamut full. So if you haven't tapped into the power of collaboration, definitely do that. I mean, so I love hearing that. Dr. Karen, when is your summit? Is it annual? Is it an annual summit?
Yeah, the Sister Leaders Conference is an annual conference. This year. It is going to be the week of October 29th and 30th. The summit is a 2-day summit, but it's kind of being evolved into a 4-day summit. But it's the 29th and 30th. We have a couple of one small in-person event. We have an awards. We just closed nominations for Sister Leaders Awards in 15 industries. And so it is virtual. The conference is the website is sisterleadersconference.com. And we celebrate all things female. We share networks, education, experiences, and we're going to be talking about leading people, leading change using technology and analytics.
Wonderful. Thank you. If you will put that also in the chat so that way people come back to this video, they can say, hey, let me power up because we are talking about the Power Up Summit,
Mm-hmm.
but also in October, we got something else for you to come to. So get your ducks in a row. All right. We got somebody checking in saying, hey, Queens. Hey. Yeah, I know. That sounds real good. See, I know. But Tiffany, let me ask you about your full self. When do you feel like your most self? What are you doing and how do you get to that place?
Well, definitely, like I said, I go back to my passion, which is STEM. And so when I'm doing those talks with the students, when I'm talking to them, encouraging them, that's really when I feel like I'm full self. When I'm talking to the kids, when I'm talking to the parents, and when they say their child is engaging and enjoying it. When I do those author talks and I'm signing books, those are those moments where I'm like, I'm making an impact and making a difference. So I feel like my full self when I know that I'm making some impact. And it makes my day when I've seen someone who's older, a kid that's gotten older, and they come back and they say, I remember when you talked about STEM, or they became some of those careers. And so that's really where I feel like my full self, because I'm making an impact. I'm being able to help in the journey and encourage more of them and shape their future. And I know that I'm making that difference. So I feel like my full self when I'm making an impact and I'm serving in this capacity to try to encourage, especially girls and underrepresented minorities in this field of STEM. So I feel like my full self during those times. So that's what makes me feel glad, and my passion is being fulfilled from that end.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing that. I mean, I can hear the inflection in your voice about it. I mean, that would make me want to listen. Like, I'm not good at math, but I'm gonna try.
Love it.
So yes, I love that. We're gonna take a short little commercial break because we did lose Danny. I think we're having a little technical difficulties with that, but we'll have a short commercial break. We'll come back and go to the second part, and then that way, if Danny comes back in, we can wrap her back up in. So y'all hold tight.
Wow, my big sister, international Amazon bestseller worldwide. I mean, how do you feel right now having a bestseller on the charts?
Ooh, oh my goodness. I'm excited. I'm actually very speechless. Like, I have a lot of words usually, but I am speechless. I'm thankful, and I just appreciate everyone for helping us become Amazon bestsellers.
It's really such an amazing book. I mean, all you women and ladies, y'all really put together a classic. After you do something like this, what is next for Queen Cole?
Ooh, I don't know. First of all, I'm gonna try to soak it in. I want to just soak it in and just enjoy it. But what I was thinking was, there are people who are like myself. Like, I love flipping the pages. I love highlighting. I love all that. But as I get more busy and I'm on the go, I like audio.
I'm a big audio fan. Huge audio
Are
fan.
you? Okay. So what I would like to do, with your help,
Okay.
is to make Ring of Fire an audio chapter.
Okay, I like that idea.
You like
I
it?
like that a lot, yeah.
Will you help me?
I got you. I got you. I got you. We can do it like an interview type, because it was definitely really heavy, but I would love to unpack it with you. I mean, wow, I'll be honored.
All right, so y'all heard it here first. Ring of Fire, your contributor author. Matter of fact, your Amazon international best-selling author, Queen Cole, my chapter will be audio. So you can click the link in the bio. Melvin 9K is going to help me put it together. But hey, people want it. That's what we're going to get.
Got it. What's up?
All right, so y'all heard it again. The anthology, Forged by Fire, Bill God Tough. My chapter, Ring of Fire, is on audio, so make sure you also get that as well. But we are going to go back. This is the second half with the Power Up Summit speakers. We got 3 of them in the house. We got Danny back in the house. Danny, I was just asking the ladies, when do you feel most fully yourself? What are you doing? And then how do you get to that high place in your full self?
I feel most fully myself. Uh, it used to be when I'm on the stage, but now it's when I'm alone having conversations with God. That's when I feel like I'm fully myself because, I talk to him, like a real person. I don't, say, oh, art thou, Lord, I'll talk to God like that. I'm just like, hey, this is what it is. You know this situation. And I'm just like, I can be completely just honest about what I'm feeling and what's going on, and I can feel, I can like hear him telling me how to handle certain situations. Like if I'm stressing about something, he's like, I got you on this, okay? I got you. Don't worry about that. I see what's going on, but trust me. All right, me and you, we right here. Trust me, Danny. I got that. And when I'm given that confirmation, I'm just like, oh, okay. So it's like any time today, just me talking to God, I feel like I'm 100% myself because I'm not being judged, and I don't have to be a certain way. I can just fully be me, and He hears me and accepts me as I am. So being alone at one with God.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that an awesome place? Because he already know all this stuff about us, so it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna be myself anyway. So yeah, I love that. I love that having that
Right.
quiet, secret, private time. I love that. But see, I want to dig a little deeper because y'all bios are fire. Y'all been saying some hot gems. Y'all been dropping all this. But what I did see on your bio is something that I want to ask, and I'll start with you, Dr. Karen. What career mistake has given you the biggest lesson?
I thought about this question. So for me, I stayed in a job too long. I had been working for an organization about 14 years. I was identified to take over a particular role, was a director role at the time. I was shooting for a director role. And so my boss, who was the director, was retiring, and I was told that I would be succeeding her. And so that is any employee's dream, to know that you automatically have a job that's the next level in your career progression. And so I was excited about that. And so she was due to retire the next year. And so the next year came, and she started moving tasks over. However, she didn't retire. And so I'm like, okay. And then year two came along, and she was no longer moving task over, but there was no longer the conversation about her retiring. And and so I felt awkward about bringing it up, so I just didn't say anything. And so I stayed in that position too long, and so I ended up becoming a little silently bitter about the fact that because you can't make someone retire. The truth of the matter is, she was not ready to retire, even though she announced that she was going to retire, and I was identified as her successor. So I found a job externally. So I ended up leaving the company that I love and the position that I love, because I just didn't know when she was going to retire. And by the way, she is still with that position, and I've been gone for 4.5 years now. Um, so
Wait, what?
yes, she's still in that. She's part time, but she's still there. And so the lesson that I learned, the mistake that I learned, one is the fact that I would not bring up the elephant in the room. You know, I would not bring up the conversation because I, as an HR professional, and HR is my choice. You cannot. I knowing that you can't make someone retire, I didn't know how to bring up that conversation. And so there was a issue with communication there on my part and on her part, but certainly on my part. And then two, I stayed too long, at the point that I realized that she wasn't ready to retire. If I was ready to go to the next level, I should have just moved on. But and then that way it would have released some of the bitterness that I had prior to leaving. So I did end up leaving the company, and I ended up moving up into another position. I eventually got a position in the C-suite. But the mistake was the lack of communication and staying too long.
Yes, and I think we have all did that in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
friendships,
Mm-hmm.
jobs. So
Mm-hmm.
this is just this helping everybody everywhere. So yes, thank you for sharing that lesson. Tiffany, let me ask you about a career mistake that you've made that became a lesson, because I believe, yes, we do have mistakes, they're obstacles, opportunities, but they're all lessons. So tell us one that you can share.
Yeah, and this I definitely talk about this when I'm going to do the speaking and for the Power Up Summit. So I really tap into this, which is going to be dealing with resiliency. And so from that, I could tell you the story of when I had gotten laid off. That moment when they said due to bankruptcies and all that had happened, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. But when it happened, I got laid off. Dealt with unemployment. I was unemployed for 10 months, and it was that moment when that recruiter said, "Your resume is great, but until you decide that you want to relocate and change your location, you're going to be stuck where you are." And so that was my wake up call when I said, okay, I'm going to have to get out my comfort zone and change, because if I stay put, that's not where God has me right now. So I've relocated, and it was an adjustment. But who would have thought? I wrote a book after the fact. And so many things I've been able to accomplish if I wouldn't have moved and stepped out of my way, get out of my way, and allow God to allow me to follow his path. And that's what I learned just from that recruiter who said, you got a resume, your resume is on point, but you've got to relocate and get out of your comfort zone. And so my mistake was I was just trying to stay in complacent, stay in my same location, but having changed in my mindset, I was resilient and learned that I've got to get out of that way because it's so much more for me and I didn't want to be stuck. So that was my lesson.
Woo! Can the church just say amen? Because we all been in that space where that comfort zone, it's comfort, it's cozy. So where did you where were you at and then you had to relocate to?
And to tell you the truth, when I got that call and said, okay, I'm gonna have to step outside and go to my company brought me back. I just had to relocate to another, after doing all these interviews and everything, I got my service years back. And so I was 9 years, got my service years back, got the vacation time back, all of that. And so God blessed me where I was able to go back to my company, get my service years, but I had to relocate. So I'm in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. I was in Charlotte, but getting out of my comforts, getting out of my own way is what allowed me to be able to get my service years back, get my job back, and just been going ever since. So
that's you got more than what you even thought you was about to get.
Right.
See that right there. People need to hear that. And that's why I appreciate you ladies sharing these moments, because this is what we don't put on social media. We don't put our career mistakes or something that we had a hiccup. It's all carefully curated highlights. These are highlights. Now, sometimes I get a little goofy. I get a little crazy. Now, I'm going to show y'all some crazy videos where I'll be messing up people's names. I'll be stumbling over my words. I can't pronounce stuff. I'm going to show you that because, hey, this is me. This is real. This is how I'm going to help you get to where you're going, because these mistakes are what the lessons are. So, Danny, I have to ask you, because you've been doing a lot for other people. Now that you're focused on yourself, what has been a career mistake that you've turned into a lesson?
That come to, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Gotta unmute. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I say the career mistake I made was when I created my promotions company, not having a team and thinking that I could do this all by myself. I don't like asking for help because I feel like I'm a burden, like I'm a bother. So I try to do everything on my own. And if I don't have information, I research it. So just pretty much just going into this mind frame thinking, oh, it's going to be easy. And then did not realize in order for business to be successful, so you're going independent, you need a team of people to help you run the show, people to help you brand yourself, hair, makeup, all that stuff. Like, you need a team for every single thing. And I pretty much had to learn trial and error. And once I decided to go on to speaking and life coaching, I was like, okay, since and then my second business is Queens Inspired Dreams LLC, which is all motivational speaking, life coaching, television, podcast, so forth. And I told myself, this time as a speaker, I'm going to develop a team. And I wrote down everything I needed to do. I was like, I need to get marketing and promotion together. I need to to build a whole new website. I was like, I have to uh, be cautious of who I accept as friends on Facebook, because me and my best friend just talked about this as branding. Like, you have to be cautious of who you allow in your circle, certain events, places that you go to. You got to protect your brand and think, and even accepting gigs. Because as a entertainer, you accept when you're just coming out, you take every single gig you get because you're trying to get visibility. But then now, me being around for a while, I have to realize every gig is not a good gig. And you have to think when someone offers you an opportunity, okay, does that align with where I'm at in my life right now? And if it does, then I go with it. If it does not, then I don't do it. And then also people being professional. I had a lot of people that came to me about opportunities, but they are procrastinators. They don't send me the information when they're supposed to. I plan my day on a Sunday, and I'm like, if you want me to be a part of an event, I need to get all that information by Friday at the latest, so I can add it onto my schedule and plan it out all week. I had that fell through. I had to follow up behind them, and I'm like, if we're gonna do business, like, communication. It's like you have to communicate with people. Chase, I never did, and I'm not gonna start doing it. I'm like, if you to be on your A game and be on your
Yeah,
platforms,
it's
I'm
funny
gonna
you say that. It's
bring
funny you
my
say
A
that
game.
because
So I need you to do the same thing with me. So pretty much just um, being tough with myself, being more disciplined, and is with somebody, have them sign a contract. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Those are all great points. And we do have some Yeah, so I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I could be talking to y'all for 2 or 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 hours, but that ain't the time. This ain't the place for it. But I want you to let everybody know about your presentation, and what I really want to know is, what do you want the audience after hearing your presentation? What do you want them to walk away saying about your presentation? Let's start with you, Dr. Karen.
The title of my presentation is Prepare, Pivot, and Lead with Confidence. And the takeaway that I want the audience to absorb from my presentation is that start where you are. You know, visibility creates opportunity. That's a quote from Dr. Cheryl Wood, but it's certainly true. And so stop hiding in the background. Practice and progression, meaning practicing and doing the same thing over and over again, allows you to get better. You know, volunteer, raise your hand, and know that all you have to do is just start where you are. And with all of those things, your level of confidence will increase, and when your level of confidence increases, then your stock increase, your value increase, the way that people view you as an expertise increases. And so put yourself out there. Put yourself out there, do the work, put in the hours, get the time, you know, and you will get better.
Yes, thank you so much. That's great. That is awesome. Tiffany, let me ask you as well about your presentation for the Power Up Summit. Tell us the name of your presentation and what you want people to walk away saying.
Okay. So the name of my presentation for the Power Up Summit is going to be Unleashing the Resiliency Within. and it's all about walking in your purpose. And so I'm going to share some tips on how you can be resilient and walk in your purpose. And my favorite quote is from Shirley Chisholm: if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And so that's what I try to do, and know that being resilient plays a role with it. So I want people to take away from me that they know that you are enough, and knowing that you are resilient, persistent, and allowing yourself to be able to overcome obstacles by being resilient.
Yes, I love that. We need that. I mean, these are great reminders. This is why y'all are Power Up featured speakers, because y'all just got it going on. And Danny, let me get Danny back in the stream. Danny, tell us the name of your presentation and what you want people to walk away saying after your presentation.
Well, the name of my presentation is Dreams Require Risk. And it's pretty much about just saying anything, any dream or passion that you have is going to require risk. And that's meaning that you cannot be afraid to walk into your purpose. A lot of people, I feel like, they know what their purpose is. They're just afraid to like go forth, because in the back of their mind, instead of thinking about, okay, if I do this, all the great things that's going to come out of this, is always, well, what if this doesn't work? And what if I fail? What if I flop? And it's like, that's what kind of keeps people from going forward. And the risk is believing in yourself. Believing in yourself, that's the biggest risk that you're ever going to take. And that's what I did when I did my one woman show 3 years ago. Like, that was a big risk that I took, because I'm not a risk taker. and I thought about it, and I'm like, if I would have never did that show, where would I be at now if I didn't just step out and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this show. I know what I'm doing, but then I don't know what I'm doing, but we gonna work it out. And it worked out, and it snowballed into a series of things and led me to where I'm at right now. So just pretty much letting people know that if you're at a point in your life where you feel that you're deserving of more, you can't be afraid and think of, what if I don't have the resources, I don't have the finances. That's okay. You're not always going to have everything that you need at that moment, but you just work with what you have. And the little bit that you have, just work with it. And then networking. I'm really big on working. Everywhere I go, I have business cards. I'm talking to people, and so the more you network, the everything that you need, money, resources, that all comes through networking. And as long as you're consistent with that, and you let people know what you're all about, the right people will be like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and hook this person up. And they say they need a website, I'm gonna give them a website. They say they need a venue, I got a venue for them. So networking is key, and believing in yourself. So I'll go over like all that.
I love that. I love that. And that's why y'all are the Power Up featured speakers, because y'all have been amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed you all. I have been putting y'all's contact information in the comments in the chat. But again, before I let you all go, let's just go around round robin. Tell everybody where they can find you at, Dr. Karen.
Well, you can find me on all social media under Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. Under my namesake, I'm on Clubhouse, Instagram, Facebook. My website is drkarenhillspruden.com. But my baby, my sweetheart, my baby, is my Sister Leaders Conference. And I would love for you to go to sisterleadersconference.com. We are still looking for speakers and authors and entrepreneurs. Right now, my focus is Power Up, but I would love for you to check us out at Sister Leaders as well.
Absolutely, we sure will. Because I heard people, I ain't gonna go back to, but yeah, somebody said that was real good. So yeah, Tiffany, where can everyone find you also on social media?
All right, so you can find me on tiffanyteachy.com is my website. I am available on Instagram, Twitter at Tiffany Teachy, and then also on Facebook at author Tiffany Teachy or Tiffany Teachy author. And so you can find me on those platforms, and I'm excited to be able to speak today, and looking forward to representing as a power speaker. So look out for more from me. I've got more books to come, more courses to come, to try to encourage kids and parents on a budget to be able to see themselves being able to do activities, especially in engineering. Thank you.
Awesome. Can't wait for all of that. Danny, let's close with you. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Yeah, I forgot that I was on Clubhouse since she mentioned it because I was I just got on there like last month, so or Clubhouse. I know I have to remember all everything that I'm on. So Clubhouse, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find me. Danny Speaks Truth. So you type that in on any of those three. I'm there, and I have aside from the Power Up Summit. I am bringing back season 2 of my motivational talk show called Hey Danny. That will start next month, August the 2nd. Wow, August is coming up real fast. And so I'll be shooting, I pre record all the shows. So I'm going to start shooting it next week. And then after I'm done with shows, I'm going to go back to finishing my memoir called Anxiety Never Sleeps. And then I plan on doing just a little mini tour, like a 3-city book tour, speaking tour next spring. And then after that, sky's the limit.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I just want to tell you, ladies, again, thank you so much for being on Like the Path podcast. I look forward to all the great things you're doing. I can't wait to hear your presentation at the Power Up Summit. So thank you. Have a good one.